Grandma.
I call my grandmother Gia.
I call her Suki.
Grandma.
Yeah, Grandma.
Grandma.
Nana. I think she thinks that like Granny is like kind of cute. Like I think that's her like Jenny from the block like upgrade on Grandma.
So only my sister and I call my grandmother Gia.
It was like a Suki now, you know, so she's Suki to everybody.
Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart.
I haven't really heard her talk much about her life and her experience.
She instilled like mannerisms and being very poised and always putting your best foot forward.
Because my grandmother is really sure about who she is.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Grandmother Project presents Pearls and Pocketbooks, our monthly webinar experience featuring Black grandmothers and granddaughters discussing love, life, and everything in between. I'm Melanie Brazil, and I am the creator of the Grandmother Project, an original 9-episode docuseries, which you just watched the trailer for, now available on YouTube. Be sure to visit our page and like and subscribe. The link will be in the chat. But before we continue, we would like to acknowledge the passing of one of our original grandmothers from the series, Mrs. Beverlyn Nana Struthers. Nana and her granddaughter, Destiny, warmed our hearts with their beautiful relationship. And I would like to take this time on behalf of the Grandmother Project to send my condolences to the Struthers family. Nana will truly be missed. And I'd like to also thank each of you out there for the outpouring of support we received since announcing the news. Last month, we chatted with the legendary Mrs. Geraldine Granny Jerry Richard, who took us on a stroll down memory lane as we discussed Chicago in all of its glory. We also settled the score once and for all that Harold's Chicken has the best chicken in the city. Sorry, Uncle Remus. Granny Jerry said what she said. Thank you all for tuning into that episode. And of course, if you missed it, you can check it out on YouTube. But today, we are taking you across the world to Australia. That's right. We are going to the land down under as we chat with a very special grandmother and her daughter who have maintained their bond even though they are 9,000 miles apart. This new grandmother's love knows no bounds, and today we are going to hear about what it is like to be a long distance grandmother. So let's travel around the world, shall we? Welcome to Pearls and Pocketbooks, episode 4, Bonds. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our guest for the evening. Our first guest is an Indianapolis native who is recently retired after 42 years as a registered nurse. She's the loving mother of one daughter, Cecily, and the devoted Grammy to Alula Valentine Symes. She's an avid reader who reads upwards of 100 books a year, enjoys church, and loves traveling with her daughter, her best friends, and her husband, especially if the location has a casino. Favorite destinations are Dubai, New Orleans, Rome, Cannes, and of course, Melbourne. So far, she's been to Australia 12 times and can't wait to get back and hug all of her babies again. I am thrilled to introduce you to Mrs. Valerie Grammy Harmon. Mrs. Harmon, welcome.
Hello, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
Wonderful. I know Memorial Day is coming up tomorrow here in the States. You got any plans to put anything on the grill?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we're barbecuing tomorrow and can't wait for those good old hot dogs and hamburgers.
I know that's
Great.
right. Well, me too. I hope that I can find myself invited to somebody's cookout tomorrow. Hint, hint. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. And I am looking forward to chatting with you in a bit. All right. Well, we're going to continue on and introduce our next guest. Our next guest is an actor, activist, and diversity and inclusion strategist with an international career, including film, TV, and theater. She now calls Australia home. She graduated from Florida State University with a degree in theater, and she's recently received certificates in diversity and inclusion from Cornell University and Purdue University. She is the founder of Music Dance Theater Workshops in the US and Stage a Change in Australia. Both organizations work to create pathways to the arts for aspiring artists around the globe. She is married to husband Scott Symes, and the two have one daughter, Alula. They currently reside in Melbourne, Australia. It is my pleasure to introduce you to my friend, the amazing Cecily Stovall. Welcome.
Thank you, Melody. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you and your mom.
Yes.
This is just thrilling. And, you know, first of all, I have to ask you, Cecily, what day and time is it in Melbourne?
It is Monday morning. It is 10, just after 10 here in Australia.
Wow. Amazing. Well, thank goodness for technology. We are literally talking to you in the future.
Yeah, hello. You make it to tomorrow. Spoiler alert, tomorrow comes.
Thank you. Well, Mrs. Harmon, we're going to have you join us as well with your camera. And we're going to go ahead and get started. All right. Yes, and we'll have you unmute as well. Perfect. Yay. It's so lovely to have both of you here. We've been waiting for this conversation all week. So, hey, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. So, Mrs. Harmon, you know, from your bio, I know that you have many titles, and most recently the title of Grammy. But before you were Grammy, you were mom. Can you tell us about what it was like raising Cecily?
Well, Cecily has always been a child who was very curious, was very independent, and always had a mind of what she wanted to do. She always kind of knew where she was going and what she was looking for.
Oh, that's wonderful. We got a throwback picture here.
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
She always knew exactly what it was that she wanted.
And I think she's still very much that person today, I can say, as her friend. Cecily. So, Cecily, you know, you wear many hats as well. And as we heard in your bio, you're an actress and you're a consultant. How do you think your mother shaped your interest and the path that you're on today?
My mom always taught me to be kind to other people, to consider other people. She's, you know, I don't know if it's because she's a nurse or just because she is who she is, but she's always been very aware of how one person can impact the people around you. And I think that's a lesson that I learned from my mom early on. And that's really informed who I've become. A lot of my work is in really helping the community and helping artists do what they want to do. And, you know, my mom would probably say that she's not an artist. She doesn't, you know, work in that world, but absolutely by being a nurse, her job was to help people, to see people feeling good, to feel people feeling, you know, empowered to be their best and to do their best, which is literally what I'm doing, just in a different scope. So I would absolutely say that my mom, just being her, has definitely inspired me.
That is really beautiful. And it is just, it's clear that you two have, you know, just a mutual admiration and love for each other. And I'm so happy that we could have you together here virtually in this space today to experience that. And so, okay, so sort of getting into this travel aspect, Mrs. Harmon, prior to Cecily moving to Australia, had you traveled internationally?
Yes, Cecily made sure that I traveled internationally. When Cecily decided to start vacationing, she scheduled a lot of trips to go by herself. And she also scheduled a bunch of trips to go to take me for a holiday, for birthdays, for Christmas presents. She just started scheduling vacation trips. And so that's how I got started. And probably most of my international trips have been because of Cecily.
Oh, that's wonderful. We actually have a picture, I think, of some of your travel adventures. Can you tell us about this particular trip?
This trip was a birthday trip where Cecily took my sister, Cecilian, and myself to Dubai for our birthday present. Oh. And we were there for about a week, and we went to Abu Dhabi and we went to Dubai. We went out in the desert and rode camels and had just a lovely time. Lovely.
Cecily, what did you think about that trip?
Well, okay, I have to first say that, let me just tell you what happened, a little bit of the background on that trip. So there was this flight deal, this glitch, and there were like $200 flights to Dubai. It was Christmas Eve of 2014, I think. And my mom woke up on Christmas morning and I said, "Good morning, Mom. I just want you to know I booked a flight to Dubai." And she said, "What?" I said, "Mom, it was only $219 tickets." And she looked at me with this most serious face and said, "Are there more?" And I said, "I don't know." And she said, "You know, your auntie's gonna want to go if I'm gonna go." And I'm like, "Wait, who said you were going?" And she was like, "Well, I'm just saying, I don't know if Dubai is safe." So I canceled my flight and rebooked the 3 of our flights. And I was like, "All right, Merry Christmas." So that's how we went to Dubai. And we had such a ball. So we went there. My mom and my aunt's birthdays are 2 days apart. And so we celebrated both of their birthdays, flying internationally to Dubai. And it was just so great. It was, I had just left a long running show. And so it was sort of a bit of a celebration of, that success, and that they had supported me so much in my career up until then. It was really special to be able to take them and do something that they never would have done for themselves. So it was a good time. It was a good time.
It was a very good time.
I love that. I love that. And those pictures show it. I'm sure there are lots more and so many stories about the adventures. And so, okay, so because I'm trying to figure out, Cecily, how did you end up in Australia? You're originally from Indiana. How did you end up in Australia?
Yep. So I was on tour in the States. I was doing Book of Mormon, and I was on tour for about 3.5 years. And I had been asked to come back for a replacement. Someone needed a replacement for about a month. And in that time back, one of the producers was there. And I sort of jokingly said, "Hey, I heard Australia is happening, just so you know, I'm interested." I'm officially putting my name in, and didn't really think anything of it. And then a few months later, I got a phone call saying, "Hey, you're going to Australia." So I was very, very, very fortunate to be able to come out and open the company here, thinking that I would be here for 14 months and then, would have checked my bucket list of being able to work internationally. And haven't left.
So here we are. So initially you came for work, and like you said, life has a very interesting way of giving us serendipity surprises, if you will. So tell us about your journey to starting a family there.
Well, that wasn't the intention of the journey. I came and, I kind of expected to just hang out in Australia and, maybe go on a few dates or something. But about 3 months in, I swiped right, left, whichever way you swipe, on Scott, and we went on our first date, and that was basically it. Um, we met, and I think it was probably like at least 5 dates in that I said, okay, so listen, if we're gonna do this, like either you're gonna have to move to America, or we're gonna have to figure out how I can stay in Australia, because I've got about 12 months to we've got 12 months to figure something out. And he was like, I think we should figure something out. So that's basically how it happened. Um, we are going through the process of, me becoming a citizen here, which hopefully will happen in the next year or so, and then we can investigate what happens next.
Wow, that is amazing. And so, Mrs. Harmon, what was your reaction to finding out you were going to be a grandmother?
Well, I was ecstatic, first of all, very happy, feeling very blessed to be a grandmother, because I am so old and just now getting a grandchild.
Not true.
But very happy for both Cecily and Scott. They were both very happy about it, and I was even more happy.
That is wonderful. And so I'm imagining that you were in the States when you found this out. And so can you tell us how Cecily told you the news that you were going to be a grandmother?
Cecily sent me a onesie in the mail that said, what did that onesie say? I can't remember now.
It said, baby signs coming 2019, made in Australia with American parts.
Yes. And I was sitting at the dining room table when I opened the package and looked at this T-shirt, and I was just so thrilled. I'm just so excited.
Oh my goodness. So I know that you that is so creative, Cecily, and what an amazing way. I mean, I love the way that you all have been able to stay connected. When you found out, I know you've been there 12 times. So were you actually there for the birth and when born?
Yes, I was actually I went, I got there about 2 weeks before her due date because I wanted to make sure I was there. And I wanted to make sure she had everything ready and, felt comfortable. And that was about the time when she was starting her leave from work too. So yes, I was there, and I don't know how much help I was, but I loved being there.
We've
I
got some
loved
great
being there.
pictures we'll show.
Right for the birth and in the birth room and all that good stuff.
Oh, look. So can you tell us about these pictures?
Well, the first picture was just a few days after, both the first and the second picture, just a few days after we got home from the hospital. And she's a brand new baby in those pictures. And the third picture on the right is Alula and I chilling in the living room, just playing, and she's probably what, a couple of months old, 2 or 3 months old in that picture, Cess?
Yeah, I think about 2 months old.
Oh, these are so precious. So now you have to tell us, we've already kind of given them a hint, but what does your granddaughter call you?
My granddaughter calls me Grammy.
And how did you come up with Grammy?
Well, Grammy is the name. Grammy was the name of the grandmother that I admired the most. Other than my own grandmothers, my best friend's mother was called Grammy, and she was like a mother to me, and I just thought she was the perfect grandmother. Just the perfect grandmother. I lost my grandmother when pretty early in life. I was probably still in before my teenage years. And my other grandmother was not very close at all. So I didn't have much of a role model. And Cecily didn't have much of a role model because my mom died before Cecily was born, and her dad's mom died before she was born. And so she just didn't, she doesn't know what a Grammy is about until now.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that. And I love how you have found a way to honor, this woman that was meaningful and impactful in your life through that name. And that's really special. And so it's nice that you all are writing this story now. And it's clear that Alula just loves her Grammy from those pictures.
I like Grammy because she's award winning. I think, she's basically an award, like a Grammy, so.
I have never made that connection before, but I like that. It's like the Grammys.
Right, she's like the Grammy.
The Grammy. I love that. Yes. Hold on with that. So Cecily, this next question is for you. You've mentioned, to me how important it is for your daughter Lula to be connected with your mom. What sort of routines have you all put into place to make that happen?
Well, we FaceTime at least once a day, sometimes twice, depending on how late my mom's willing to stay up and where we are at daylight savings time. So as soon as Alula hears the FaceTime ring, because it's a little different, she says, "Oh, calling Grammy." So she talks to Grammy every day, every morning. And yeah, there's we have a photo wall, so we have lots of photos everywhere of everyone. And so Alula, will pull them out of her little box, and she recognizes all the photos of Grammy, and we talk about, who else is in the photos and who the rest of the family is, just so that she can see everyone and get to know everyone. Yeah, and then we talk a lot about when we get to go to Grammy's house, which who knows when that'll be, but just trying to keep her as present in our lives as possible.
Yeah. And that's really important. And I really just commend what you all are doing, because it seems to be working, she knows. And so you sort of touched on this. As we know, the pandemic has been one of the most difficult times that any of us have ever been through. And can you tell us, if at all, how it has affected, your routines or your ability to stay as connected as you like?
Yeah, I think between us coming there and mom coming here, we've canceled at least 5 flights. The borders in Australia are currently shut. So we cannot leave. No one can come in unless you're really important or in the entertainment industry, which, that's another story for another day. But yeah, we can't get out. She can't get in, and we literally have no idea when we will be able to see each other again. So that's hard, considering she's been here so many times in the first 3.5 years. In Alula's first 7 months of life, we were together 5 times. So to not, Alula turns 2 next week, and it's really hard to not have my mom here, to not have Alula's Grammy here, for the 2nd year in a row. But come hell or high water, I'm telling you, birthday number 3, we are turning up. We're blowing it out. We're flying Grammy in on a air cannon. I don't know, but Grammy's going to be here for number 3. Third time's got to be the charm. But it's hard.
Yeah. I can't even really imagine, but like you said, we're gonna have to charter a plane, do it big, maybe Dubai. Maybe we go back to Dubai for Alula's 3rd birthday. She won't remember, but we're gonna turn up.
Turn up.
So,
she'll remember, don't worry.
She does remember a lot.
I bet. Now this is a great segue, because now I want to know, Mrs. Harmon, how would you describe Alula? That's the first question. And do you see any similarities in her, between her and Cecily?
Well, Alula is so much like her mother in personality until it's frightening. She is extremely determined. She is an avid learner. She is already an avid reader. When Cecily was a baby and people would come to visit, she would grab a book, sit very close to them and say, read to me, read. And if they would look up to talk about something to me, she would tap the book, read. And that's exactly what Alula does without prompting.
Oh, wow.
And
I love that.
She's very, very creative, very smart, and she doesn't forget anything. Of course, most kids don't forget promises that you make, but she goes a little beyond that. She's pretty smart.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. And I see a lot of those similarities as well, between Alula and Cecily. So now, Cecily, it's your turn. Do you see any of your mother in Alula?
Yes, actually, in one way that came out this weekend, which could not be scripted. So when my mom laughs, she goes, ha, 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 ha. She does this little sigh at the end. And Alula did that this weekend. And like, there's no one else who does that. There's no one else. As a matter of fact, we used to have a bird that laughed like my mom too. But that's the only other place I've ever heard that laugh with the little at the end. And Alula did it, and it just warmed my heart. Like, oh, it was great. I see someone in the chat asking if Alula is awake. Can we meet her? The intention was for her to be here, but she is actually at childcare today. I am so sorry, but I did come to you live from her room. But I'm so sorry. She is not here.
We do have a cute video though that we can go to right now, so that everyone can experience the cuteness and the personality that is Alula. Let's see if we can get that up. Let's see.
Hi, Mommy. Hi, is that your Grammy? Yes, we having fun. In a minute. Yeah. Mwah. Mwah.
Super cute. Oh man, she is just so much.
Of course, she's a lot bigger now, but we just thought that was so cute, so we had to show it. And then actually, we've got another really cool picture. This was one of my favorites that you all sent in. We'll go to this last photo. I think it's just, it looks like it should be in a magazine. Yes.
So I was actually shooting something for the day, and Mom was back. I think Alula is probably about maybe she was about 5 months. I think that was shortly before my wedding when my mom came back. And I was still on maternity leave, so we didn't really have childcare or anything. And so Mom came with me because Alula was still breastfeeding at that time. And at the end of the shoot, they were like, should we just take a picture of you and your mom and your daughter? And we were like, yeah, we don't have any photos together. So that's how that picture came about.
Yes, and you can tell it looks like it, like I said, it looks like it should be like in a magazine. It's so polished and really the colors just pop. I love it. I hope you all have framed that. So yes. Yeah, you should. You need to do this, sis. I want to ask this next question for Grammy. What advice do you have for grandmothers who live in other states, or even in, you know, as in your case, different countries than their grandchildren that want to be connected? What advice can you give to people in similar situations?
Well, I guess the best advice is that if you really want to be present very often, then set a time and just set an appointment for when is the best time to call, the best time to FaceTime or video chat with the family. One of the things that Cecily is superb at doing is she calls me at breakfast time when they're sitting at the table, and she props the phone up so that I can see them and I feel like I'm sitting right at the breakfast table. And just about every morning, not every morning, because sometimes we miss or sometimes something's going on that we can't do it, but it's an expectation for me that if they're not too busy, that I'll see them at breakfast. And that's been one of the best ways that I've been able to stay connected.
I think that's great advice, just being intentional about and purposeful about making the time and setting that commitment and honoring it. And, you know, again, I commend you, Cecily, for making sure that you make that happen. Cecily, you know, you can also offer advice. What advice can you give to someone who, you know, has desires to move abroad, but wants to stay close to their family, or a mom that wants her kids to be close to their grandparents?
You know, it's before the pandemic, you know, I definitely thought that the only things keeping us separated were basically time on an airplane and money, you know? And so my advice 2 years ago probably would have been, make sure that you have an emergency fund, because the homesickness is real, the feeling is real. And if you just need to get home and see your mom and lay hands on her, have a discretionary fund that you can do that with so that you don't ever have to worry about that situation. Obviously, that advice is not so real right now. But I guess my advice would be to just be really realistic about your expectations and understand what it means. Like, I have some absolutely beautiful girlfriends who are, some of them are joining us here today, and we talk about it all the time, that, you know, there are things that you can't recreate. It's hard to recreate, you know, your village. It's hard to recreate, hey mom, I've got an audition I need to run to, can you pop over for half an hour and watch Alula while I go do my thing? It's hard to recreate, you know, I mean, we're not there yet, but Alula has a dance recital at 7:00 on Tuesday, and we'll go to dinner and then, you know, go home. Those are the moments, those little mini moments are hard to recreate. But I think what's so great about the way that my mom and Alula's relationship is, it's honestly not even about me, is that my mom is happy to just have the phone propped up and Alula does her thing, and she gets to actually watch her grow up in the same way that she would watch her grow up if we were living in the same city. And I certainly wouldn't wish a pandemic on anyone in the world, but I have to celebrate that because of the forced slowdown, it's actually probably allowed Alula to get to know her Grammy and G-Pod to get to see and observe Alula in a slightly different manner than what we would have if I had just come home 2 or 3 times and spent 3 weeks at home. We probably wouldn't feel the need to talk on the phone every day. We probably wouldn't feel this urgency to stay connected. It probably wouldn't be so important to me that Alula knows her family in America. And, you know, mom would probably have a whole lot more stuff to do and a whole lot more trips to take and a whole lot more things that would keep her from, you know, being able to take the phone calls every morning. So I have to sit a little bit and find the gratitude in the relationship building that this has given us, even though it's not the relationship that I thought it was going to give us. Yeah. This is a very long way. You know that I'm very long-winded, but it's a long way to say my response would be, if someone is considering moving abroad, or if you're thinking about the distance, remember that there will actually be some good things that will probably happen out of that never would have happened if you had stayed in your status quo. And there will be some changes and it'll be uncomfortable, but there might be some, little lemonade moments that come. So look for those, because it's easy to stay in what you don't have, but sometimes there are beautiful things that you actually get a moment to enjoy.
Yes, someone in the chat, Kirsten, says, beautifully said. And really, Cecily, that's just so incredibly beautiful, and just your perspective on it. Like you said, this hasn't been, no one would have wished this time, but there's always these nuggets and these glimmers that come out of even the craziest, less ideal situations. So, I'm glad that we had this slowdown to allow, like you said, just that opportunity for them to connect. And then we've got a shout out from Tony Davis here also, who says, yes, great perception, cousin. Thank you, everyone in the chat, Denise Chapman, everyone that's out there in the chat. My mom, I see you out there. Fun fact, my mom also goes by Grammy. So that is also a name that I am very familiar with. So I thought that was really sweet. So we just have a couple more questions here. Mrs. Harmon, this is sort of like a lofty question, I will say. And we know that Alula is quite small right now. But this is a question that we asked during the Grandmother Project when I interviewed the original grandmothers. And it's, as she grows, what do you want most for your granddaughter?
I want most that she lives to be a blessing to other people, that she knows that there's no mountain high or low that can keep us separated if she wants to be here. That she'll always have us, no matter whether she's there or here. When I say here, the States or in Australia. I don't know. There's so many things I want for her that it's hard to even start. I think just the most important thing is that she knows that she's loved, and and it's a mighty love.
Yeah. Wow. A mighty love. Isn't that what we want? That's powerful. Wow. Thank you for that. Cecily, as we begin to wrap up, this is another question. I thought we would get into some of the questions that really anchor the Grandmother Project series. Cecily, how would you, and you have to only do it in one word, how would you describe your mother in one word?
My mother as a mother, or my mother as a grandmother?
It could be either one. It can just be your mother as a mother, whichever one you choose.
One word. I'm trying to come up with the vocabulary word that means like continuous outpouring of love. So I don't know what that word is. So I would just say overflowing, but like with love in parentheses.
I felt that. I get that. We feel that. It's a really tricky task, and most people, one word, it's so hard. There's just not enough words. And so, Mrs. Harmon, now it's your turn. How would you describe Cecily in one word?
Awesome. Just awesome.
No, Mom.
And now both of you all can answer this one. You get one word to describe Alula.
You go
Joy.
first, Cess.
I'd say joy. Joy. She's got a lot of joy, but it's also a joy to be her mom most days.
Oh,
I guess, boy, that's hard. She's so many things. Just special. Special.
yes. Yes, I love it. I absolutely love it. Cecily, I always enjoy when I get to see pictures of Alula, and I think the word I would pick would be confident. It's something about the way she walks. I really wish we're gonna have to like do a part 2 where she can make a cameo, because she moves through the world like with so much purpose and intention. I'm like, is it possible to want to be a 2-year-old when you grow up? But I do want to be Alula when I grow up.
I'll show you. I hope it comes through. This is her today. She decided that she was going to wear her sunglasses to school. So she picked them up and she put them on. And she has on her unicorn backpack. And she opened the door and she said, or she was trying to open the door. She said, "Mama, open the door." So that was her on her way to school today.
And that's it right there. It's the sunglasses. Look at this. Look at this walk. Look at these glasses. It's so great. I just love it. So, and I just thank both of you. This has been really beautiful. Just hearing about how, love has no borders. And right now we've all been, this time we haven't necessarily been able to see our loved ones as much. And even this Pearls and Pocketbooks was created out of the need to keep these conversations going when we can't really be together. And so I'm very grateful. I'm grateful for technology for at least giving us this opportunity to interface and see each other. It's been, I really have a newfound appreciation for all of this. And so before we sort of wrap up, we got a fun thing now. So Mrs. Harmon, we got to make sure that when you are able to get to Australia, which we pray will be very soon, that you're all brushed up on your Australian slang. So are you ready to play a little multiple choice Australian trivia?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, here we go. All right, here's the first question. What does hard yakka refer to? A hard helmet, hard work, hard day, or hard life?
Hard work.
That's correct. All right, you're 1 and 1. Okay. Okay. Oh, this one's fun. What time of day is the sparrow's fart? Is it very late at night, midday, very early in the morning, or in the middle of the afternoon? The sparrow's fart.
Mid-afternoon.
Actually, Cecily, do you know the right answer?
Yeah, it's first thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning. Okay.
Like, I had to get up on the sparrow's fart.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I thought that one was fun. Okay, so we got a couple more. What are mates rates? Mates rates, are they special discount for friends and family? A rating scale of who you like the most? How much money you spend with your friends or family? Or how much time you spend with friends and family? Mates rates.
Are you saying rate, R-A-T-E?
Yes, R-A-T-E. What is a mate rate? Is it a special discount?
Special discount.
That is correct. All right, okay. It looks like you're not gonna have to brush up too much. You're ready. What does it mean? Ooh, this one might be tricky. What does it mean to be knackered? Is it you're hungry, you're tired, you're angry, or you're excited?
Oh. You're tired.
Correct. Okay. Oh, okay. Now this one, I don't know. This one might trip you up. I don't know. What is McDonald's informally known as in Australia? Mickey D's, Macca's, Macadac's, or Old Mac's?
Macca's.
Ah, correct. Wow. Okay.
So fun fact about that, actually on the signs, they say Macca's out here.
Oh, wow. So they don't even say McDonald's.
Some of them do, but Macca's is like, it's Macca's.
Wow. I learn something new every day. Okay, so here we got a couple more. What does it mean to have a crack? Does it mean you're going to start a fight, visit a chiropractor, try or attempt to do something, or get a paper cut?
Attempt to do something.
That is correct. Okay, now if you get these ones, you're really, I mean, you are so ready. What is a singer? Somebody who can really sing, toolbox, a shower, or a sandwich? Singer.
I'm gonna go with the sandwich.
Correct. When I saw singer, I was like, oh, Fantasia.
You have to say that one with an Australian accent. Out here, they say a singer. They don't say the R, singer. So it's a singer.
Ah, that's right. I gotta drop the R's. I gotta work on my Australian accent. We have a fan. Akosia says, "You're true blue, Grammy." Okay, we got two more. What was the late Steve Irwin's famous catchphrase? 4 out, what a beaut, crikey, correct, or cool?
Crikey.
Yes, that is correct. And the last question, what does she'll be apples mean? Does it mean that everything will be all right? The girl is crazy, silly idea, or is it a cool new nickname? She'll be apples.
She's crazy.
Actually, that one means everything will be all right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you know what? Everything absolutely will be all right.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was fun. You were really good. I would tell you, I didn't know any of these questions before. I think I knew crikey because,
Crikey,
Steve,
yeah.
But I got them all wrong when I first took this quiz. So great job. It's clear that those 12 trips to Australia have done you good. I cannot wait until you are able to get back. I just want to thank both of you for this just amazing conversation. Was there anything I should have asked?
No, but I just wanted to answer. This book, this Lost Words book, is absolutely beautiful. Someone asked about it in the chat. I'm just pulling things off the wall. But it's all about words that aren't frequently used in the English language anymore, which is pretty cool. Oh, and there is one more thing that I wanted to answer. Somebody asked about Alula's name. Yes. There's an interesting story about Alula, which I think is kind of cool, grandmothery. So we didn't tell anybody Alula's name until she was born. And we picked it because we liked the idea of constellations. And there's an Alula Australis and an Alula Borealis. So there's an Alula constellation in both the northern and southern hemispheres, which we thought was significant because obviously we're from the two hemispheres. And it also means a bird's wing, which both Scott and my mom like birds. So we thought that was kind of a cool link. It felt like it had a bit of a family connection. And then her middle name, Valentine. Obviously, my mom is Valerie, so that's Val. My aunt, as she mentioned, is Cecilian, so her Valentine is Valyn. And Valentine is actually my grandmother's maiden name. So my mom's maiden name was Valentine. So she's Valerie Cecilian, and my grandmother, Ophelia Valentine, which my middle name is Ophelia. So Alula and I together are Alula Valentine, which is a nod to my grandmother, who I've never met. As my mom said, she passed away when she was young. But here's where it all gets crazy. So we didn't tell anybody the names, right? Well, when my mom came, we did finally tell her, right, like she said, she came right before Lula was born, and we told her the name. And she kind of sat with it for a while. And I don't think it was that day, I think it was a couple of days later that Mom told us about this woman named Lula. Now, Mom, can you tell the rest of the story from here about who Lula was and why the name is so significant?
I had a friend when I was in grade school. I had a friend named Yvonne, and her mother was very, very nice, and she would always make sure I was invited to the parties and all that, because I wasn't a very popular kid. I was very, very shy, very quiet, and but her mom always made sure that I got invited. Her mom also was on a committee when we were graduating from high school, and her mom recommended me for a scholarship to Indiana University, and I got the scholarship. And she has always been just the sweetest, most wonderful friend anybody could have. And when Cecily told me that her name was Alula, I felt like that was just an omen that Lula, this lady's name was Lula Rawls. And it just touched my heart, because she was so special to me. She is so special to me. And so Lula's got everybody's name. And it's wonderful.
That is so amazing. And there's just some things that are just beyond words.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When things like that come together, and it's just so powerful. I'm really moved by that story, and just by all the power and all the women and names that have been evoked even in this conversation. And so we carry all of those people and women with us, and we're grateful for all of that, because nothing is ever lost, you know. And it's just amazing to see this continuation in Alula. I just want to thank you both. This has been such a beautiful conversation, and I'm just so inspired. Cecily, you are just one of the bravest people I know, and Mrs. Harmon, it is just a pleasure to have spent this time with you. For all of you out there, I want to thank you as well. Did you all want to say anything else before we close?
I want to thank you for inviting me. It's been fun. This is unusual for me to do something like this, but it's been great, and thank you.
Thank you.
I just think you're cool, and like I've said to you personally before, I love the celebration of grandmothers, and thank you for helping my mom feel a little bit more like a grandmother today, because I know I've got her one and only grandbaby far away, but I love seeing her celebrated as the awesome grandmother that she is and has been for 1 year, 51 weeks, and 6 days, counting.
Wow. Yes. Very soon. We got some glimmers of hope, so it's gonna happen. Just thank you everyone out there for watching. I put the link to the Grandmother Project website in the chat, as well as our YouTube page. Please stay tuned after this for a very special message. And again, we thank you. This has been another episode of the Grandmother Project presents Pearls and Pocketbooks. We will see you all on June 27th for episode 5. Be sure to check it out and stay tuned for a very special message. Thank you again, Cecily and Mrs. Harmon. And thank you, Henrique Lazari, for all of the tech help behind the scenes. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next month. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Supporting the Grandmother Project is easy. Simply go to www.grandmotherprojectseries.com and click Donate. You'll be directed to our PayPal page, where where you can enter an amount to help support the creation of new episodes and content. Be sure to like and subscribe to our page on YouTube and follow us on social media. See you next month on the next Pearls and Pocketbooks.